Bass players, bass family, what's going on? It's your boy Ray J coming at you with another bass talk. In this topic right here that we're going to talk about is kind of near and dear to my heart, and I'm pretty sure it's just a talk for life, but I'm gonna just make it specifically towards the bass or towards your music career. So let's go to the throne of grace. High your name, Shai, forgive us for all our sins, continue to cleanse us from all of our unrighteousness. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for another day in the land of the living. Thank you for life, health, and strength and the ability of our limbs. As we go into this talk, Lord, help me to talk with clarity and help the viewers to understand and to listen with clarity, Father. And as we water and plant, continue to give the increase in all things. You'll get all the glory, honor, and the praise for it's in your Son, Yeshua's name. Do we pray? Amen. And again, just a quick disclaimer. I am Christian. I pray to the Lord. I say Ahia. That's the ancient Hebrew name. So I'm still praying to the God of the Bible, to Jesus Christ. It's just I use the ancient Hebrew. That's all. Nothing deep. So anyway, so the topic of this lesson is going to be called Danger, Beware, Who's in Your Ear. And as I talk, you will understand why I'm saying that. So, I responded to a comment today that was kind of disheartening, what he was experiencing. And it had to deal with, people who are not on the professional level of, we're just talking about music or just your bass, who's not on that high level, but more the people who's in the middle, who kind of get the people who get lost in the sauce because they don't have the drive to keep pushing forward, or they look for excuses, basically to justify why they can't get better in their craft. So he was just telling me, he'd been hearing people saying, things like, you don't need to do all that. You're not going to be a professional bass player. Don't get stuck in trying to read and study music, or read music or do theory, because you're going to get stuck behind, the music stand, just like all dumb stuff. And the sad thing is, that wasn't the first time I've heard that, because people tried to tell me that. And then I started to think, and maybe, y'all can relate. Definitely, hit the comment section. Comment. I keep saying comic because I love Avengers. That's why I keep saying comics. Hit the comment section and just let me know, y'all personal experiences on, the wrong people being in your ears. So and I was thinking, I was like, wait a minute. Someone told me that, well, they say if you learn to read music, that you won't fully develop your ear. And at first I was like, I guess that it could kind of make sense. Then I started thinking like, yo, that is some foolishness. That is straight up stupid. And the thing is, just like, my buddy's situation, the thing was, for me, the person or the people that told me that, some of them weren't even bass players. And the ones, I don't even think a bass player ever told me that. The people who told me that were, the people who didn't excel or sharpen their swords, or, iron sharpens iron as it concerns to their music playing. Their music playing was basically below average. And those are the ones who told me. And just like for the most part with him, I can guarantee you the people who told him, don't learn to read music, don't really study music, and don't try to have a professional sound, they're less than average in whatever they do probably in life. And I'm just, not trying to be mean, but you got to listen, who's in your ear telling you certain things, because, that makes a difference. Just think of Job's friends. Job was good, but he had 3 friends that said, you did something wrong. God wouldn't do all this. And then at the end, Job ended up, speaking out of turn. And Lord said, who's this that darkened the counsel without knowledge and with words without understanding? And then the Lord had to tell Job about himself. And then the Lord said, you need to go offer a sacrifice for your friends, because I'm mad at them and I might take them out. So that's it. Job is a perfect example of how not to have certain people in your ears. And as with him, I had it like, just having people say dumb stuff that like, yo, bro, you believe that? And I just be calling, right now I'm at the place where I just call people out on their stuff like, bro, that doesn't make sense. Like, that really doesn't make sense. So I just wanted to, shoot that myth, or if you ever heard it, that if you learn to read music, or if you study music, your ear won't get stronger, or you'll be stuck with reading music. That is a bold-faced lie. And you will never hear a professional bass player or a professional musician say that. Because when you think of some of the greatest or some of your favorite musicians, they all read music. Why do they all read music and are still great in what they do? Because reading music helps you, just like not reading music and just playing by ear. It all goes together. So if you ever been told that, if you know the person who told you, you need to go tell them like you're a liar. One of my favorite bassists, Sheree Reed, is a master at reading music. He went to school for it. And you would never tell me he got stuck playing, behind the music stand or anything like that. He is phenomenal. When you think of the Jocko, he read music. They all read music. When you get to the highest level, a lot of them read music. Maybe not so much in the gospel world, but even in the gospel world, like another favorite bassist of mine, Morgan Turner, he went to school for music. He can read music. And he said himself in an interview that I watched, it's like 10 years ago, the question was asked, it was like J. Ross TV. He was like, well, do you see any benefits of being able to read music and gospel music, being as though it's like more of like ear and it's not everything tap? He said, there's always a benefit if you have something or if you offer something someone else can't offer. So he said, and he just talked about like a situation, like if you're in the pit band doing a show and they have, sheet music, because I know how to read sheet music, I can just follow along with the show compared to someone who doesn't. They have to listen by ear. And as a person who plays more like 99% plays by ear, 99.9, it was one time I had to read sheet music. But the thing was, I said, I know the song, so I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to play these notes verbatim. I just kind of like mapped it out. I'm like, yeah, I know all this stuff. And I can hear the progression. I can see it. But I play 99.9% of playing by ear. When I tell you, if there was an option of me being able to read and play it right compared to the, just listening and just hoping you find it right, no, I would take the reading option all the time. Because you know what's coming. Like when you play by ear, you got to anticipate. And sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. But when you're reading music, if you know how to read music, you're always right. So it is a benefit to read music. And if you haven't learned to read music, or if you don't think it's necessary, maybe, like I said, if you're like doing like God, but even got some gospel artists, like if you're doing a big show, they're going to have, their charts and everything. It's because you're playing a lot of music, and no one is going to like remember like 40, 30 songs all in a row. So even them, you got to learn to read music. Like people, I'm trying to tell you, and it's always the subpar performers who like to tell you this stuff because they couldn't achieve it, because they started and they failed. Don't let that be your story. So that's why I said, who's in your ear? If you got people like that telling you stuff like that, you need to disassociate, disconnect from them, and get with people who are like-minded, who are trying to go and be the best they can be, especially when it comes to playing music. And, even in life, you don't want somebody who's always being negative about everything. How was work? I had a good day at work today. Oh, well, yeah, my day was terrible. My boss and all this. I'm like, dang, you making me feel bad. And I had a good day. Like, you got to rid yourself from that, because it's a toxic environment. Okay, but like I said, reading music is a benefit to your bass and to your music playing, because it helps you become full. It helps you become full circle, go full circle in the music. The main difference I would say between, you know, playing by ear and playing by chart reading or reading music is like when you take a test, some questions are multiple choice, some questions are short answer. You will never go to your teacher and say, I don't think multiple choice is the best for me. I don't think, it's going to help me. So just give me short answer or vice versa. You will never say that. Why? Because he or she will look at you like, okay, well, just get them all wrong and fail. That's the same thing when people say, "Oh, you shouldn't read music or you shouldn't play by ear." That's how dumb they say. I'm just keeping it real because it's frustrating, and I can understand when somebody's going through, like, someone's telling you something and just dead wrong. You will never hear a professional bassist say, or even professional musician, don't read music and don't learn to play by ear. You got to be either one or the other. That is dumb. You will never hear a teacher say, don't learn multiple choice or don't learn short answer. No, you got to have both of them to show, your musician acumen. So learn to play by ear and learn to read music. And the thing is, when you're practicing, when you're learning, or you're reading music, you're also learning to play by ear. Because when you see the notes on the, whether if it's treble clef or bass clef, you hear it. So when you hear it in other music, you're going to say, oh, okay, you're going to bring back. That's just like multiple choice. Like, you study something. So when you read the question, you see the answers, you can already, process of elimination. Do that. You can already do the process of elimination. That doesn't make sense. That, boom, here and there. And when you do short answer, you can paint a full picture and just get reminded back. So even when you're soloing, if you learn to play by ear and you pick up, something that a bass player does, you can remember. So when I get to the one, I have access to this. The same thing is true. The same thing is accurate if you're learning to read music. If you're learning to read music and you see the chart and the chart, like, it's in the key of C, and like you're playing over like a C chord, or you're playing on the one, when you hear that stuff when you see that stuff, you're going to say, oh, okay. So when you're not reading music, your mind is going to go back to that chart. So that's another reason another example of that statement being totally false. You need to learn to read music. Like, well, I won't say need, like you will fail if you don't. I'm not saying that. I would tell everyone, explore sheet music. Explore read, just so you won't be ignorant in that area. I didn't say you got to be a master, because I'm not a master. I know what the notes are, and I can't play it fluently. I'm gonna take my time. Like, ooh, is that it? You know what I mean? But I know enough to be able to show you what the notes are and break it down. Okay? So again, take a look at who's in your ear in life, but especially for your musical journey. Being a professional is not about playing on a worldwide tour. Being professional is a state of mind. I can safely say I will never go on a worldwide tour. I don't tell the truth. I used to want to, but now I don't. I'd rather just, do a gig across the street, be able to come home to my family, see them every day. You know what I mean? I got a family now. Having said that, I still approach each gig as if I'm playing in front of 10,000 people, because someone is listening. And people, you still want respect in your field. Even if you're not going to be, the best of the best, you still want to be respected in your craft. You still want to, have some good self-esteem about, what you're doing. Because everyone likes to hear comments like, yo, you kill, especially among your peers. I may not be in the NBA, but if I'm in the men's, well, not men's league, but if I'm in, a basketball league in my city, I still want to be the best I can be. I still want to be known as, yo, he's good. You don't just want to be like, yeah, he sucks. So that was 15 minutes. Hopefully that helped someone. Who's in your ear, man? If they're not positive vibes, if they're, and there's a difference between constructive criticism and just like straight criticizing. Constructive criticism is when you could tell me what I'm doing wrong and you can explain why it's wrong, and you can also show me what I need to do to be correct. And not just like, oh yeah, he's kind of sloppy. If you can't break down my plan, or if you can't do what I'm doing, you need to be quiet. You can't, what can you tell me? No, I don't need that. And I get tired of people. I know a couple people indirectly like that. Like, I don't know anyone personally, because I wouldn't know them because I wouldn't hang around them. But I know some people who come up and be like, you could have did this. Like, and they don't say it to me because I just grill people. But like in my cousin on Oregon, oh, you could have did this, but you can't even do the chord he's doing. You can't even do what he's doing, and you're going to tell me wrong? It's just like movie critics. Like, and think about this, people. People go to school and get master's and doctorate degrees to professionally critique and criticize people. And they're criticizing people that get paid to do what they do and are the best at what they do. So you got paid critics criticizing actors, athletes and all that they could, and those critics could never do, it will never be able to do what the people they're criticizing do, even to, 10% of the person they're criticizing. Like, think about that. Like, you're going to criticize my acting. Well, show me what a good actor look. Can you demonstrate? Don't say, well, he is. Nah, can you demonstrate? And I'm like, come on now. And that's how people are. Oh yeah, you could have did this, bro. Well, here, show me. Can you do it? Nah. Well, get out my face. And that's how you got to be for real with these people, because they're trying to attack your star player because they see you growing, and they don't like that. They haters. And they don't like that. And they're upset with themselves. They have low self-esteem about themselves. They're like crabs in a barrel. And you want to disassociate with anyone who's like that. Okay? So this is your boy Ray J. If you got any questions, my wife is at the door. Questions or comments, definitely, hey babe. If you got any questions or comments, just let me know your experiences. Because we got to get this together, people. Because we're under attack. The people who are trying to be the best they can be are under attack. And I'm like this. You go low, I'm going lower. You fight me, I'm bringing the fight to you. Because I don't run. It's your boy Ray J, over and out.